And how do you find the new Raptor?
Wow, that's so big.
Welcome to the channel. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, or JCCR as we like to call it, and we are gonna off-road, on-road, the new to us 2019 Ford F150 Raptor. We're gonna do our first impressions, a full review inside, outside, the exhaust, the seats, everything. And we've got to answer a big question. Should we have gotten, or should you get, a brand new Raptor? Or is it a better buy to get a used Raptor like we did? Now there's pros and cons to both, and we're going to be going through that at the end of the video, and in between we will take this thing on-road for some pretty bad on-roading. We're going to take it for some off-roading through a little bit of mud and some untamed trails that haven't really been touched in decades. And of course, we do really want to answer the question of, are you better off getting a Raptor? Because there's no denying it, the 2023 V8 5.2 liter Raptor for sound is unbelievable. Very cool sound, tons of horsepower. You've got 700 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque out of that V8. Now let's compare that to our 2019 EcoBeast Raptor. Well, the EcoBeast Raptor has 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. It's no slouch, but it's certainly not earth-turning power like we get out of the Raptor R that we see here. Now, the Raptor R is definitely winning a ton when it comes to power, but do keep in mind with a few modifications, such as air intake, full exhaust system, and a proper tune, you can be going into the 600 pound-feet of torque range and even get either very close or even into the 600 horsepower range out of a 2019 F150 Raptor 3.5 liter twin turbo high output V6. So do keep that in mind. Now the interior to the new Raptor is unbeatable. Those seats are incredible, and they do offer a little bit more support and a little bit more style than the outgoing model. And the 12-inch screen, well, it's just a whole lot nicer than the 8-inch screen. Once you've been spoiled by a bigger screen, you kind of want to stick with it. Now, both the interior and exterior to the new Raptor has a whole lot of new small touches to make it extra special. But the 2019 is no slouch, and we do think there are some good reasons to go ahead and buy it. So let's see Marie's first impressions.
I really love the mags. The color is beautiful.
Wait until you hear the sound system inside. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I've got an exhaust for it and an intake. And if I chip it, I think I can make 600 horsepower. So Marie and I both find the 5.2 liter supercharged V8 is unbeatable for sound, and it's unbeatable for power. It's a 10 on 10 in both. And the EcoBeast currently, for power, we'd give it a 7. And for sound, we currently give it also a 7. Surprisingly, the 6-cylinder twin turbo actually sounds pretty good, but doesn't sound incredible like this 5.2 liter new Raptor. But let's get back to talking about some of the benefits and some of the important points on getting a used Raptor. Okay, so here we have our brand new, well, new for us, it's our 2019 F150 Raptor. So that's the 3.5 liter EcoBeast engine. That's a 6-cylinder, 3.5 liter with 2 turbos. And well, it's got 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque, and that's going to change pretty quickly because this is going to get air intake, probably K&N. It's going to get a Borla Ford Performance exhaust. Okay, so we're inside the Raptor now. Let's see how this thing accelerates. You ready, hun?
Yeah.
So that's 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. And how did you find that?
It's soft, but it goes very well.
Yeah, it's really well insulated, so we're not hearing very much from the outside. And actually, even when we open up the roof, as long as we open up that back window to let out some of that pressure, it is still quiet. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
You said the suspension's soft. I'd agree. It's made for taking jumps, landing jumps, and dealing with just horrible roads. So it is a little boatier than your normal F-150 suspension, which would be a lot stiffer. So this really you can feel it going, you know, speeding down the road within the legal limits, of course, and it's just really absorbing bumps really well, but it does feel more like we're driving a boat on the lake. So acceleration, you find it?
Yeah, it goes fast, quicker, but it's smooth. So yeah, that's a good ride for the weekend.
Fast for a truck, but I do feel, for me, I'm very much used to the Mustang GT, the new 2022 Mustang GT. So I want more power out of this. So we are throwing on a K&N air filter in the front, and we're going to have a Borla Ford Performance exhaust all the way through. And I want to tune this. So I want to get this into the 600 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque range. Sound system, what do you think?
The sound system is the best one that we ever had, I guess. Yeah, it's like when we listen to a song that we know, we hear much thing that we didn't hear normally in that song. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not just about the bass, the boom boom sounds great, but it's a lot more than that.
The
it's
definition.
About, yeah, that's well said. The definition. You said while we were driving, what was it? You said it's like HD.
It's like having a HD thing with the sound.
Yeah.
I know it's not the real word, but yeah, and we have so much space to put stuff here that's crazy how space we have.
Tons of space. Yeah. I feel like the stock exhaust could be louder. That's personal, because some people just loathe driving down the road and hearing the exhaust. What is nice is right now we're cruising, and we're cruising at about 65 miles per hour. You don't really hear the exhaust. You hear the tires a little. You hear the exhaust when you accelerate. So hopefully you caught that. Now I feel I'd like to hear the exhaust more. So let's say I give it a quick little boot to the floor. Cowboy boot to the floor. Once you're already doing 65 miles per hour, the acceleration is not mind-blowing in any way, unless you were to put it in sport mode, in which case the downshift, it'll downshift further into a lower gear, and then you'll really take off. So do keep that in mind. Right now we're in normal mode, and I feel like it's tuned more for fuel economy. And in regards to fuel economy, I'll have to translate that at the bottom, but for Canadian numbers, when we're cruising, we're doing just under 14 liters per 100 kilometers, but the overall average, I'm playing between 15.5 liters. That was the previous owner, actually, over 6,000 kilometers. And since I've owned it, I've done about 200 kilometers, and we're in the low 16s, so 16.1 liters per 100 kilometers. So do keep in mind, it takes fuel like a Ram 1500, I guess you could say, but this does have a ton of power. So the fuel economy isn't bothering me so much, because this is, after all, purpose built. Now for styling, I think we could say, what would you say about the styling?
About the style, I really love the style. It's a sports style outside.
Would you give it a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, because it's like a monster truck when you look at it, with the suspension like that, and the plate that we see, the little touch, like the suspension that it's colored in like orange red.
Yeah, the Fox suspension is fantastic.
Red, yeah.
Looks good for fantastic, pretty much unbeatable for absorbing bumps. Obviously we're going towards the mountains. We want to go and do a little bit of off-roading, which is kind of hard to find in our area, but we've got our recovery boards, we've got all the straps. We're doing something unadvisable. We're going by ourselves. Hopefully that works out and we don't end up getting stuck. Now you did see a Corvette go by, and what was your comment in regards to the Corvette?
Yeah, I know you really tried to buy one this summer. You were looking at it, you love it. To me, I prefer the Mustang a lot, but yeah, when we saw it, we were like I was like, no, it's a big no for me. I prefer the look of the Raptor, the Mustang, the Bronco. So yeah, maybe I'm too much of a Ford girl.
Yeah, you're a Ford fan, I guess. Maybe you're more of I think you're more of a Ford fan than I am. I do really like my Fords, but I do like my Corvettes. Most generation of Corvettes do appeal to me. When it comes to trucks, currently do have a preference for Ford trucks and a a strong preference for Ford trucks. It's not a coincidence that I've got this Raptor and I want to beef it up into the almost 700 pound-feet of torque range. Then I want to compare that with the F-150 Lightning, which so far I've driven on a little test track. And on that test track, the Lightning is mind-blowing. Now this is a complete different tool, made for off-roading, all sorts of off-roading, whether it's rock crawling or high speed, you know, going over the whoops. This is a precise tool, so it's not going to be the best at everything. I do prefer, I would say, if I was driving a limited F-150 for highway driving and going through the just regular, good, well-paved roads, the curbs, the twisties and the bendies, a regular F-150 is better. And obviously a Lightning, with its extremely low center of gravity due to the weight of those batteries being more towards the middle of the vehicle and very low, it's a truck that the handling is uncomparable. But this, I'm loving it. I'm loving it for what it was built to do. I think it's excellent. I think I'm going to go test it off-road to really find out if it's truly amazing at what it was meant to do. Do you have anything to add? Because to summarize, you love the sound system.
We're talking about all the stuff we loved, and I need to add another kind of comment. It's not that much negative, but the seats are so comfortable. But I prefer the one in the Bronco. In the Bronco, it's like I'm searching the word in English. Sorry. It's
personalized sofa.
Yeah, it holds you more. Yeah. I don't know how.
The Bronco seats were just made for
your ass.
Oh, sure, you can say that, but it's definitely made to hold us in place. And actually, the Bronco through the corners, it feels a little more solid. This suspension really is made for absorbing. So let's do another acceleration test and hear what this sounds like. That was nice. And Maddie's pointing out a car sitting there, and she's like, are they doing radar? So we'll lay off before we get into a lot of trouble. No, just a guy sitting there being suspicious.
Need to be careful.
Yeah, need to be careful.
It's a new toy, but be careful.
It is tempting to go fast in this, and it's actually feels quite nice. The exhaust, the stock exhaust, it sounds good. And I think it's going to sound great. I'm hoping it sounds great with a full exhaust, because they're not exactly free. I think it's going to be well worth the money. So stay tuned. We're going to be testing that out. You won't want to miss out on that. So do subscribe so you don't miss out. And well, let's cut it there. So far, we are very much liking this vehicle. Its only downside is the fuel economy, but when compared to other trucks, we're getting a lot of power.
Kind of normal.
It's not that bad. We've got big tires on. This thing's pretty heavy, pretty high up. For what it's offering, the fuel economy is good for what it's offering.
Yeah, and at first, because you test it, for sure you won't have a fuel economy that much, because you love to hit the pedal and hear the sound.
Squash it down.
So this week, no fuel economy for you.
Yeah, I'll calm down next week. Actually, why don't you take the Raptor next week? How would that make you feel?
Yeah, no, it will be great.
Yeah, you'll be happy. When we're looking at either another Bronco or the Raptor, Marie was more putting weight on another Raptor. And anyways, the roof is fantastic, because with the Bronco, when we do drive, you know, partially open, it's not so great on the highway. This roof, the angles, how they've built it, perfect for going down the highway at high speeds and still getting some wind and sun. So let's do that. Let's take this top back and cut the film right here. It's kind of what we do here on the channel. So we want, this is more cars, but we also want some more power out of this. Got fantastic seats, extremely comfortable. And you know, the suspension, it's made for off-road, but it's also great just on bad city roads. So we've been pretty darn happy. It's got the dual bypass Fox suspension. So that's an active suspension. Really works well at absorbing the bumps. We're quite pleased with it. But the big thing with this vehicle is getting all the power I hope to get out of it. It's the real deal. We've got the widened sides. side vent for the hood, which is actually functional for letting hot air out. And you've got the heat extractor also on the hood. So pretty glad with it. Looks pretty good when lit up. Light this up. Pretty darn good looking truck. Fantastic ride. Now the Bronco, it's not going anywhere. We absolutely love our Sasquatch Outer Banks. And we will be doing a long-term review on the Raptor. See how we feel about it over time. Now already, because I've been spoiled with a lightning ride, huge difference when you're talking about electric power of that new F-150 Lightning versus an ICE engine. Lightning is unbelievably, insanely fast. And while we hope to make this is already fast, but we hope to make it crazy fast. So stay tuned. Let's go check out, look at that suspension. Huge, wide suspension. There's that Raptor suspension, great for absorbing pretty much everything.
It is good, great.
Yeah, you're all about the color, eh?
Yeah.
You're all about the look.
I really love the little touch like that on the car.
Yeah, you're all about the look. And I have to say, for looks, the Raptor is a 10 on 10. And well, for sound, the 2019 is a 7 on 10. And we do hope that putting the Performance exhaust on the 2019 will make it sound better, but it will never sound as good as that 2023 Ford RaPtor R. But this 2019, while interest rates are high, prices on trucks are coming down, and they've come down actually considerably. So the price on this was fantastic, and it's still very much a capable off-roader. It's not as if the new Raptor has doubled its capacities and quality when it comes to off-roading. We're still talking about a very similar suspension, and both are fantastic tools. And here's another thing about the Ford RaPtor R. Good luck even getting one. Let's not even talk about whether you can get one at MSRP or whether you have to pay a markup, but can you even get a Ford RaPtor R? They're going to be pretty darn rare, and getting one is going to be not impossible, but highly improbable. So getting a used Raptor right now seemed like the best option for us. We love it, and actually Marie prefers the clean look of no decals, so she's loving the look of the 2019 and really had trouble noticing the difference in looks from a distance. Now, of course, once I showed her the, specified how the lights are different, specified how the interior is different, yeah, we both agree that the new 2023 does look better. But at a certain point, you can definitely be happy and pretty proud to be driving a 2019. We've already had, I was driving down over to get gas, and at the lights, I had a kid in an electric vehicle. His dad was driving, and the kid started filming our Raptor. So we're not the only ones that can say that the style change, the previous style ending in 2020, still looks amazing. So our bet is get a Raptor R if you can get your hands on, especially if it's at MSRP. That is an amazing investment, but getting a used Raptor is also a great investment because they barely depreciate. Just try to put some cash down to avoid those high interest rates we've got lately. But Raptors that are used are going for pretty darn great prices, and this is an incredible machine that we recommend. So until next time, we wish you all more cars and more power. And well, on a final note, it hurts a little less to do that to a used Raptor than a brand new out-of-the-box Raptor, and you're worried a little less about stone chips. So have a great week, everyone. Take care.